Hello everyone, it's me again. A lot has happened since I first made the video about Identity V using AI, but one thing that hasn't happened is netease making a statement. This is such a corny sentence, I'm leaving it in. So for context, or as a reminder, there is an ongoing boycott of the game Identity V due to its usage of generative AI, or more precisely, netease's decision to invest heavily into AI. The boycott started around middle of April, but got a big boost when Zeez, one of the prominent English YouTubers, made a video about the boycott and what to do and not to do. And shortly after that, the streamer Sgushenka revealed that the Identity V creator program, where they get paid anywhere from $300 to $1,000 depending on their viewership count, introduced a contract, which they didn't have before, basically saying that they are not to engage in drama and do not hurt the reputation of the game. Which, you know, due to the timing, feels like it's basically trying to shut the creators up who were in support of the boycott. And not only is this a very sudden contract, so I believe they had about 2 days to sign it if they wanted to stay in the creator program for May and June, but it also included a 50% increase in revenue for those 2 months. Which, you know, that's something that happened, I guess. But yeah, now we are approaching the Call of the Abyss finals. And for those who don't know, during the last day of the COA finals, there is usually a reveal stream, which announces new content and reveals upcoming characters. And there's been some discussion about how we will handle this under the boycott, but in my Twitter bubble, or like X bubble, pretty much the consensus is do not watch the stream for the reveal show. Preferably not even through a secondhand streamer. I believe during one of the first streams when the AI thing came out, Zeez had said that they do look at those and they even encouraged him to continue them this year, as far as I know. I will see if I find the concrete clip and I will play it if I do find it. I didn't find it. They will post everything on Twitter anyway. In my opinion, spamming the chat will not do anything because we cannot really engage with people meaningfully in the chat, especially when it's being spammed. It just doesn't feel like something that's productive to the boycott. And personally, I will also handle the content being revealed in a very private way. We still love these characters at the end of the day and the game, so it's natural to be excited if something cool is revealed. But I would encourage everyone to keep the excitement rather private, even if that's just private in your Twitter. I don't think we're gonna get a statement during the reveal show. Probably not ever, but we will see. And the reason I think so is that the content creator thing showed us pretty much where they stand, and I assume that they will handle the player base in the same way, which is to say that there will be probably more free essences and things like that coming up. But another very interesting aspect is the cultural difference, which as far as I know, there's a lot more acceptance towards generative AI in China, or at least they don't see it like as a threat. And from what I've heard, it's because it's more viewed as a tool to advance and become more efficient. And there's generally less anxiety about what will happen if jobs are lost to it, because the people seem to largely trust the government to have their backs and support them in this changing economy, basically. Which is super interesting because, yeah, Western countries wouldn't trust their governments to do that. And also recently I saw that people shared on Twitter that there was a court ruling in China which said that companies are not allowed to replace workers with AI purely for profit reasons. Regardless of that, I do think that this doesn't remove any of the other arguments we have against generative AI, not to mention that obviously they did replace workers with AI in this case, so I think China technically agrees with this boycott. But even with all of that in mind, and potentially us not ever getting a statement, is that what this has done is really opened my eyes to how intransparent these companies really are. This is one of the rare cases where we can actually tell something is made with a business practice that we don't agree with. Because when people are exploited or overworked, we don't necessarily know just by the end product. But with AI, as of now, there's some visual cues that we can use to identify it, which makes it more upsetting how companies choose to respond to the AI topic. Most things I've seen so far is either the company straight up lies or the company's backpedal, which I think some Western games did, where they said, oh, that's a placeholder that we forgot to switch out. Which, by the way, is a crazy statement to have. Like, what do you mean it's a placeholder? That doesn't make it any better, right? Like, that's like killing someone and then hanging the corpse somewhere, and then someone comes up to you and is like, bro, that's fucked up, that's a corpse. And you're like, oh yeah, sorry, I meant to replace it with a fake corpse. Like, that doesn't make it any better that you killed someone. Hi, Editing Tori here. I just wanted to say real quick, this is kind of an extreme example now that I hear it again, but like, I'm not trying to say that human-made art would be fake in that context. Don't think about it too much. Basically, don't do what I'm doing right now. And, of course, then there's the netease strategy, which is just not saying anything. And really, this has just been the combination of netease not communicating for the 5 years that I've played. Especially when it comes to NAEU, because I do believe that there's some community representation going on, but that doesn't change that we as the average players have no idea what's happening at any point. For example, you may know, based on my complaining about ping, that I'm European. And a few years ago, they changed the infrastructure so that Europeans could have green ping. But they didn't tell anyone. It just happened. And then for a week or so, I think they actually changed it to majority matchmaking. I remember this because I was playing with Kit, my American duo, who, you know, if you watch my videos. And she was like, huh, weird, I have orange ping. And then I was like, I haven't noticed my ping being bad. And then I look up in the corner and it's like, wait, I have green ping, what? And maybe they tried the majority thing and people didn't like it. Or like they got complaints about ping from Americans and they changed it back. Or maybe it was a mistake. But you know, there was no communication. So how would anyone know what it actually was? And if we assume for this hypothetical scenario that it really was them trying to make it more fair, then what else were Americans supposed to think then, oh, my ping got worse, the servers are cooked? Whereas, hypothetically, if they knew, oh, okay, this is about fairness and matchmaking, then maybe we could have been like, oh, okay, but then make regional matchmaking more prominent so that I have bad ping less often, or optimize the game so that it doesn't rely on you having 10 MS. And that's really frustrating, I think, because we had to reverse engineer all of that. And of course, not just that, but also the whole racism and whitewashing and Orientalism, which I believe we haven't had another Orientalist since. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Since the Magician one, which seems that they listened to some extent to the feedback, but they didn't communicate anything. And it's the same now with this AI thing. And continues to be the same for the racism and whitewashing. And it's so frustrating because the reason we don't just want them to change, but we want a statement, is that a statement showcases a willingness to be held accountable. Because at the end of the day, if they stop now and then it returns like a year later or something and everyone is like, wait, but we were already upset about this. And then netease is in the position where they also wouldn't respond. But basically the situation is, well, they never said they wouldn't. So that's why it's important that we want a statement. And all of this just to say that I hope that a lot of people feel similarly and will continue to keep up this energy past May. A lot of people have spoken out that they will quit. And personally, due to everything that I've just ranted about, maybe you can tell, but I feel quite burnt by this game and this company, and I will definitely not return for a while. Okay, so that's basically the main point of the video, but I would also like to address 4 more other smaller points. The first being, as I mentioned, the content creator program had a contract now. As far as I've heard, they got the feedback and they have said that creators could return after those 2 months, even if they didn't sign now, which, okay. But basically, I would like to make an initiative or like some sort of resource for creators who didn't sign the contract and are now struggling financially or taking like a big hit financially. I don't know how exactly this will look. It could be as simple as like a Google Docs sheet where there's a list of people and where to support them. Or it could be as fancy as like a shared sort of crowdfunding thing where we distribute the donations to all the creators who want to be a part of that. And the thought process behind this is if netease won't support their creators, then we can support our creators ourselves. at least, for this very sudden financial hit that some of them are taking. If you are interested in that, whether you're a creator or someone who might be able to help me out, there will be an email address in the description below. I would basically just need some sort of networking connection for someone to help me with insider knowledge. And because obviously we can act on a trust-based system where a creator says, oh yeah, I was in the creator program and I didn't sign the contract. But obviously, it would help if I had someone who was in the content creator program who could tell me if the resources match up, or even if there was anything that I could check. Like I just feel like the content creators have more networking amongst each other than I do to anyone. So I would appreciate having some sort of contact who could help me verify claims. But yeah, or if you're a creator who would like to take part in it or be featured, then also let me know. The second topic is semi-related to the content creator contract. In the Zeus stream, there were some screenshots of a mod on one of the content creator discords who is not a mod anymore, according to Mim. And this person is Sgushenka Studios. And they had some questionable attitude towards the boycott. And people on Twitter also shared some screenshots from their community Discord server, which I will not say out loud what they contain. But I just wanted to mention it so you could look into it and decide on your own whether you want to keep supporting a person like that if you are currently subscribed to them or watching their videos. And in that vein, I also wanted to specifically mention this because last year during summer, I made a Promised Neverland map, and they joined us for one of the sessions where we played on that map. I have not posted that video because it's just in my backlog and I didn't edit it, but they posted it. So there's a video where me and Kit are in a team with them during this event. Regardless of how big of an offense this might seem to you, I just wanted to be transparent about that and apologize that I did not do any research about who I was collabing with for this event. But I also wasn't in contact with them since then. So, yeah. And third topic, which is even more of a tangent, but slightly related because finals and activism. As I've mentioned, you might have noticed that I'm European, and you might have heard of this thing called the Eurovision Song Contest, which is happening in my country, Austria, this year. And you might have also heard about some countries boycotting the song contest because they refused to kick Israel from the contest, despite kicking Russia. And there's a solidarity group in Austria for Palestine, which is organizing a No Stage for Genocide song protest, which will be parallel to the finals of the Eurovision Song Contest. And I don't assume that most of you listening will be in Austria. The statistics are pretty low, but I figured I'd mention it because it's very close to home for me. And if you like this cause and would like to support it, I'll leave some links in the description down below to inform yourselves. They are also selling symbolic tickets, so those aren't actually entry tickets, they're just, symbolic. So yeah, I think that's everything. If you're still here, how are you holding up in the IDV boycott? If there's anything you want to vent about, or just generally share what you've been up to, or maybe connect with other people in the comments, please feel free. I will also be down there discussing with people. Let's hang in there, regardless of how good our chances seem. I think it's very cool that this community, or at least the bubble of the community in which I am, seems so committed to the cause and willing to put down the game over this. Before I leave, I just wanted to say, if you happen to see this and you watched my first video as well, I just wanted to thank everyone who commented and shared it. It's very cool that the video managed to breach containment, so to say, when compared to my subscriber count. Yeah, I don't know if this video will perform the same way. I assume not. But let's stay strong during this boycott and be kind to each other and support each other. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.